All right. So let's just get it going. Let's get into it. Let's see what we got. Messages. The messages are timeless. Whenever you find them, you meant to find them. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Let's get it. I am using my custom deck. Okay. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first card that we have out is Your Words Are Your Wand. Your words are powerful. Use your words wisely. Rapid manifestations speak with compassion, love, and conscious effort. Are we going to focus? There we go. There we go. Second card out is Don't start questioning yourself now. You do know. You don't have to know how or why, but you know. Trust yourself and your guidance. Don't let the 3D illusions cloud your judgment. Showing up, showing up. All right. And then why is it doing this over here? Sorry, guys. And then last card out is You got this. Keep going, stick to the plan. One day at a time, you're on the right path. Shing. You got this. All right, let's tap in. This new moon in Taurus is all about resources. The second house of Taurus is all about your shared resources, other people's monies, how you make money, how you feel about money, your relationship with money, and things of this nature. And it feels as though your words are your wand. It feels like you're able to now rapidly manifest the things that you are needing in your life. But notice that I'm saying need. Right. So it's not just like we're out here willy nilly trying to bring about any and everything that one desires. No, it's about the things that you actually need in your life. And you do have the power to do that. You do have the power to bring these things into fruition, but it feels more than anything like you just need to believe that you're able to do it. You need to believe that you have that ability to do so. You need to believe that you have the ability to bring stability and material resources to yourself, because it feels like this is a struggle. It feels like this is a struggle for a lot of you to your actual gifts and abilities, to feel how great you are at whatever this is. It feels like you have a gift that you're just now putting out into the world. And it feels like there's an energy of a little bit of imposter syndrome around it, where you're feeling as though you're not, what it is that you have to offer isn't enough to bring you material resources, or it's not enough to bring income in for you. It's just what it feels like. And there's a reason why you've been delayed on getting the material resources that you need. Is interesting. It feels like what is this energy? It feels like there were people around you who were trying to, hey, to those of you who've just joined, it feels like there were people around you who knew that you had this rapid manifestation ability, the ability to bring in material resources to yourself, the ability to make things happen for yourself. And it's like a lot of these gifts and abilities were kept locked away so that they weren't going to be exploited by other people. And it just feels like it's kind of hurt your self-confidence and your abilities, but you're very talented and you have the energy of resource manifestation that feels like it's now being unlocked for you because it's safe. It's like you've gotten rid of those people who were around you that only wanted you for the material gain or for these gifts and abilities that you have, or the gifts and abilities that you had all along that you just didn't know about, right? And so yeah, it feels like now you're having to come to the point now to where you're accepting this gift and learning how to use it and harness it. And something that I've recently started doing is working with Archangel Raziel, and Archangel Raziel is really good with helping you learn your spiritual gifts, learn your um, the way that you work with your energy, or the way that you work with your gifts, the way that you work with the spiritual realm. Archangel Raziel has the ability to kind of help, kind of be the teacher, kind of be the spiritual teacher, and take you through the spiritual boot camp to help you harness your gifts and abilities for the highest good and learn more about yourself and your spiritual gifts. So anytime that you feel like you need more confidence in whatever it is that you have, this whatever this ability is, obviously it's a general energetic reading that I'm picking up on now. But the whatever the gifts and abilities are that you have or that are emerging for you, you can always call on Archangel Raziel to help you navigate and understand yourself and these gifts a lot better, rather than just like flailing. I try to say this at the end of the end of the reading, but the card that's at the bottom of the deck here is just keep swimming, ideally with the currents. Flow with the energies, not against. Keep pressing forward. Flow, don't fight. Learn to surf the waves of the universe and trust where you're being taken, because it feels like this is kind of what you're like doing with these newfound gifts and abilities. Like it's kind of overwhelming you, because it is a lot, when you've gone from essentially living normal life and being out of touch with self and being out of touch with God, source, universe, and being out of touch with spirit. It can be insanely overwhelming to now have the ability to feel all these things and the ability to connect with source and connect with the world around you in a way that you were not able to do not so long ago. I know it well. I was there, coming off of a lot of SSRIs and suppressive medications. It's like when like you've been frozen in time, and then you wake up and you're like, what is this? What is the world? Right. And so this energy, I know and understand really, really well, because I've been through it. So I'm trying to give you the tips and words of encouragement that I wish somebody could have given me on this. When you start going through this, it just heavily feels like the energy of newfound emerging spiritual gifts. And with that being said, it's important for you to know that you have, number one, you're not alone in it, and that you do have spiritual support that you can call on. Like I said, our Archangel Raziel, Archangel Raguel, Archangel Azrael are all really good, heavy hitting spiritual guides that I have worked with and that have gotten me in touch with my gifts and abilities very effortlessly while I was going through, the thick of some really crazy things. And so getting back into the start message here is that I want you to know, though, one of your emerging gifts is this rapid manifestation ability, and the ability to be able to call in the things that you need. Notice that I'm saying need, because it's like I said on my card here, your words are powerful. Use your words wisely. Rapid manifestation. Speak with compassion, love, and conscious effort. Right. So you want to make sure that whatever energy it is that you're putting out, you're doing it with love and conscious intention, and not just subconsciously acting and spewing off stuff. Right. I understand it. It's a lot easier said than done, because, when you don't know that this is a gift and ability that you have, you kind of get what I call like zombie manifestations, and they're not usually the greatest. And then you're wondering why all these wild things are happening to you, or why these not so great things are happening to you. And it's because a lot of time, speaking from my own personal experience, the things that were happening to me was because I had this gift of rapid manifestation, but didn't know it, wasn't cognizant of it, wasn't conscious of it. and I was constantly sending myself in a loop of like things that I didn't want, things that I feared, things that I didn't like, things that were, really, really negative, I guess, and it can stem from your low, like if you're in a lower vibration, if you're in a lower energy, if you're really down bad, still going through the process of trying to get out of the abyss, and it happens. But try your best to watch your thought, mind your thoughts, mind your energy at all times, especially right now, like I said, under the energy of this new moon in Taurus, with it being all about the resources. You have the ability now to plant some new seeds on the things that you want to come in, the things that you need, the things that, how do you want to be supported? Like in your dream wild life, what is something that you would want? How do you want to be paid? Like, what is your dream passion? The best example I can give here is like sitting and writing down. Okay, so for example, I want to be paid for being me. I want to be paid for people wanting, to have access to my advice, have access to my wisdom, have access to whatever the case may be. Now is the time to get very crystal clear on what it is that you want and what you feel you deserve here in this energy, because you can bring it in really quickly, but understand that it is that double-edged sword. So if you don't feel like you are worthy of being supported for your gifts, your abilities, your talents, your skills, the things that you are just inherently, like naturally born good at, then it's going to be really, really difficult for those things to come into you. And not only that, that's going to be the kind of energy that you're projecting out under, and you don't want to use the super new moon energy for those kinds of things. Make sure that you're fully aware of you being worthy and deserving of being supported in all the ways for the things that you are good at, and the things that you have the gifts, skills, abilities, and the natural talent to do. Because with don't start questioning yourself now, you do know, you don't have to know how or why, but trust yourself and your guidance. Don't let the 3D illusions cloud your judgment. It feels like this is something that has the it's like, because I did a podcast earlier about this, where it's like, because your work hasn't been seen or recognized in the 3D yet, it feels like you're like questioning your worth, or you're questioning whether or not you are as good at, like I said, it's the energy kind of imposter syndrome. But it feels like you're struggling with realizing how great you really are at this, because of the lack of physical tangible results or recognition. And I know it's an easier said than done thing, but with this card being in the present, I feel it heavily that this is an energy that you're in right now, and it's something that you're struggling with currently to get out of. Everybody wants to have their work recognized. Everybody wants to have others see them, see what they're doing, or see what they're passionate about as great, or receive recognition for the things that they're producing, or the things that they're creating, or the things, their gifts, abilities, and skills. Nobody wants to nobody wants to just be putting their shit out there and not getting any kind of reward or recognition. But God Source Universe has a sick sense of humor. I keep saying this on every podcast that I do, on every video that I'm on, on every podcast that I go on. Like, I say this frequently. God Source Universe has a sick sense of humor, and it does not reward in instant gratification, especially when this is something that is soul led for you, especially when this is a soul led thing, and then beyond that, if you have come here with a karmic lesson to learn over not seeking external validation for anything, this is going to be a heavy hitting energy that you're navigating through right now, because is hard. And speaking from personal experience, it's not an overnight thing, and it's sometimes it's not even in a one lifetime thing. Sometimes this is a multiple lifetime lesson that you have to come back and try to break through that barrier on, because keeping yourself going and continuing to put yourself out there and continuing to believe in yourself when nobody else does is hard, is really, really hard, because everything external to you will make you feel like you're a failure. Everything external to you will make you feel like I should just give up now. I should just quit. I'm not good at this, or X, Y, and Z. Allowing that external noise, allowing that external pressure to weigh in on you, to consume you, to break you down, and and create like this festering hole within you, it really will prevent you from being able to see how great you are, and to see how much progress you actually are making, and to see the things that you are in the process of building. I am a prime example of this. I'll always give my personal experience. I'll always speak from the heart and speak from the things that I have learned. I am a human design projector, so that is my expertise of trial and erroring my way through life. And as I have been trial and erroring my way through life, like, I can tell you very confidently the things that I've learned, and having the ability to just allow myself to not care about whether or not somebody sees what it is that I'm doing as great or not. And beyond that, whether or not people like me is hard. It's really hard. Like, every single day, still currently, every single day, like, I struggle to be like, well, like, I hope somebody likes this. I hope this helps somebody. And that's my thing, is I always just want it to be able to be something that's of benefit to someone at some point. But I'm going to keep it a buck hundred with you guys. A lot of you are ahead of your time, and that's a beautiful thing and a really painful thing at the same time, because in that, you're not able to get that recognition from people when you would like it. It's a very delayed gratification situation, because people are not yet ready to perceive and receive what it is that you're doing. And it's kind of like that thing that they say about artists. Like, a lot of great artists weren't appreciated in their day, and it was like only after they it was like only after they kicked the bucket that people were like, holy shit, this stuff's amazing. It's kind of like this. This is the energy that I'm feeling from it, where it's like you just created the Mona Lisa, or you just done the thinking man statue, you know what I'm saying, in like a live art exhibit, and nobody is like coming to look at your nobody's even stopping at your booth while you're like painting the Mona Lisa, or while you're chiseling away at the thinking man statue, and you're like, I don't understand, this shit's fire. And yeah, it's kind of like this. This is the energy that I feel. This is the I feel abundantly coming from it here. And it's kind it's not even kind of, it's got you in the headspace of not feeling yourself. It's hurting your, it's not even like ego, like in the bad sense, but like it hurts your pride, your self-confidence, and your self-worth heavily, when you feel like whatever it is that you're putting out there is just not hitting, or people don't like, or people don't appreciate it, or it's not helping anybody. And a lot of people, like, this is no joking matter, like, a lot of people in the past have lost their life in that process, due to that thinking, due to that feeling of failure, of being a failure. But once again, I'll go back to me being a human design projector. Look, man, we are specifically designed to embrace failure, to embrace the potential of us, not even the potential, to embrace the fact that we're gonna go through life trying a whole bunch of shit that's not gonna work, that is not going to be a success, and having to be okay with failing, by earth terms, by 3D human terms of what like failing is. What is failure and what is success? Now that we're also on this topic of the new moon in Taurus, with it being surrounded around resources and material gain in the material world, because I'm a material girl. While we're on this topic of the material things and success, a lot of us, myself included in this energy, a lot of us feel like if our work it is not yielding like material success or material gains, then we're a, quote unquote a failure. Then what it is that we have done is a failure, or you know what I'm saying? It's just oh, it was just a waste, and what have I been doing with my life kind of energy, right? And that's not like that's not that's not it. God source universe had to sit me down 2 days ago and have this conversation with me, like why do you feel the why are you feeling like you're a failure? And I'm like, because the the way that everybody like measures up their success in this world is like, how much money do you have, how much physical attributes and tangible things do you have, to show for what it is that you have been doing. And I think that's something that has kind of put a lot of people in chokehold, because if you are measuring success only by the material things, then like if you would look around, how many celebrities and multimillionaires and billionaires do you see that are like they have all the things in the world, but they're not internally happy, and they're not internally fulfilled, and they're like hollow. They have that void within themselves. And so it feels like a lot of this energy that I'm in right now has done like me, and has kind of done life by spiritual terms the right way, where you have worked on yourself first. You have gone within, you found out who you are, you found out who you are not, you found out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. You found out what your gifts and abilities and skills are, and you're coming into a lot of your newfound spiritual gifts and abilities and skills. And with that being said, you're now ready to go out into the world and show yourself to the world in the physical, where it's like a lot of like 99% of the world's population kind of does it the opposite, where it's like, okay, you go to school, and then you go to college, and then you get a job, and then there's no room or time for you at any point ever for you to figure out who the hell you are and what it is that you're doing. Like there's no time to have that moment to get to know yourself. There's no time for you to learn about yourself. There's no time for you to reconnect with yourself, with God source universe, with the spiritual world, with your spiritual gifts, with your heart and soul. Like, do you still have a soul? Is your soul still intact? And like, all seriousness here, do you know what I mean? Because by the time most people get out, like become aware that something is like wrong with them, off with them, or missing within them, it is like detrimental zone, and they've got like nothing but like a like a bottomless pit in their heart and soul, and then all their chakras are blocked, closed, and effed by the time they realize, and like, oh my god, something's wrong. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm the mediator between worlds. That's why I'm here trying to help people with their soul redemption and activate their upper chakras, and, help to rewrite soul contracts and get people into the redemption and ascension line. Like, because a lot of people have been fed into the system of hustle and chase the material resources, hustle and chase the material aspects, and what the world has told us success is, by physical means. And I just felt like, or God source universe just felt like that needed to be a topic that came up here while we're here in the present card here, because it feels like you've let the 3D illusions of what success is, and what being fulfilled, and what being successful, and what actual goals are or have to be, kind of warp your perception on just how much it is that you've done, and just how much it is that you've accomplished, and just how much it is that you have grown from. You've been doing and are still doing a whole lot of work. And I think that's something that needs to be acknowledged here. Just because you haven't been able to see the things that you're doing and are doing and will be doing in the tangible at this moment doesn't make it any less valuable, doesn't make it any less great, doesn't make it any less worthy of recognition. It's not that. You know what I mean? You have to stay. I made a podcast about this recently as well. If you're not following or subscribing on my YouTube, check me out at Stashia Jeanette 007. But the podcast was why your soul work isn't being seen yet. And but I talked about this exact thing of like, you just because you're not seeing the things right now, like you still have to be committed to the process even when you can't see the progress. And with that being said, you have to be in this doing whatever it is that you're doing because it's in your heart and soul to be doing, right? Because it feels like this energy is a lot of people who are entrepreneurs of some sort, spiritual entrepreneurs doing some sort of like new entrepreneurial endeavor, it feels. And it's a lot harder than you thought it was going to be. And like, same, I get it. But within the first, a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs don't cut themselves a check for the first 3 years that their business is open. A lot of people don't make money in their first year of, especially if you're in like one of the weird niches like me, and you're providing like a spiritual service. It's like it's a weird thing. And so it just doesn't feel like this isn't a cookie cutter type of industry or business that you have launched. And so is requiring a lot more patience than others who would say, like, who are say selling, I don't know, like a t-shirt company, or something like physical. You're not selling like a physical thing. You're offering a service. It is what it feels like. It feels like you're offering some sort of service. Yeah. And it's requiring you to have a lot more, faith in the process and keeping yourself committed to the process even when you're not seeing the progress, because it's difficult. Yeah, I feel bad because like I understand this energy so much. It's really really hard. It's really really hard to. Next month will be my the first year anniversary of launching Ascension Oracle V, and it's been rough. Like it's rough because it's a spiritual business, and I offer services, like spiritual services, but they're exclusive. So it's not like, like I'm not just just doing regular tarot readings, for the masses. This is a rarity that I'm doing here of going live. So I'm gonna try to do it for new moons and full moons. But outside of that, it's people have to apply to work with me and things of this nature because I'm high transformation. I'm high accountability, and the intensity of the work that I do with the people that I work one on one with is just not. I'm just not an everybody person. Plus, like, anyways. But I'm saying all this to say that I understand it, and I feel bad because I know how bad it just feels like this energy is also just kind of frustrated and burning out on the fact of not being able to see tangible results. Kind of like if you were to go and clock in at a 9 to 5 and like work at the grocery store down the street, you would get a paycheck like that next week. You know what I'm saying? Tangible physical results, like in a decent amount of time. You put in X amount of hours, and then you got X amount of dollars from it. But with the work that these energies have been doing, it's like you've been putting in like 100,000 hours, and you've seen zero tangible manifestations of it. And it's like it just feels like you're super irritated, frustrated, and rightfully so. Like I understand it, I get it, and it does get better. And the card that's at the bottom of the deck is "You got this," and I feel like this is just God's source universe really trying to keep you going, to give you that encouragement, to let you know that it's okay. Like, it's all right. Keep going, stick to the plan, one day at a time. You're on the right path, and keep the faith. Like, yeah, is what I've already said. But to come full circle with it, I want everyone to know that it does, at some point you will get the fruits of your labor and all of your hard work of sowing the seeds will yield a fruitful bounty and crop at some point. But again, like I said, a lot of us are just ahead of our time, and a lot of us are here doing like special ops missions. And as such, we're having to wait for those who were meant to be serving to catch up and go through the booby traps to find us and get themselves to the level of where they're able to receive and perceive us. And it's requiring an immense amount of patience, and it's requiring an immense amount of self-confidence within knowing that you are as great as you truly are, and not allowing the 3D world to have an effect on you negatively, or the lack thereof, the things in the 3D world to have an effect on you negatively, because is something that is difficult to do, and I understand it. But your people are coming, and there are a lot of really great changes that are coming as well. And yeah, and that's pretty much what I got for this here, is the message of just, I know it's hard, but keep going anyways. And try not to flail. Try not to flail. There's like a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of energetic shifts and frequency changes and upgrades that are taking place right now. And so I understand it. Like, I understand. I too have been feeling it. And if you need to, remember the red light, green light that I said with God Source Universe. So God Source Universe also plays red light, green light with you on when to move and when to act and when to not, when to stay, when to stay and when to go, when to rest, when to fall back, when to take action. And if you're getting the red light on things, it doesn't matter if it's for a couple of days, it doesn't matter if it's for a week, it doesn't matter if it's for a month. Like, you sit at that red light, because of, just like in real life, like what happens when you run red lights, like you're at risk for something happening. So you need to pay attention to the red lights, both physically and spiritually. But pay attention to your red lights. When God Source Universe says stop, stop. And when God Source Universe equally tells you to go, go. And you'll feel it. You'll feel when you need to go. I hope at this point you guys are able to feel it. I feel like those who I'm talking to are at the point now where you're able to feel what it is that I'm saying, what it is that I'm talking about here. But yeah, just listen and feel for your cues, and follow them accordingly. And please remember that your words are your wand. Be careful with what it is that you're putting out there. Try to be very conscious of your energy. Be conscious of the things that you're thinking. Be conscious of the way that you're speaking to yourself. Be careful of how you are feeling about yourself. Like, it's okay for you to like get down and like have what was me kind of thoughts or feelings for a brief period of time, but like, don't stay down. You gotta feel the feelings and then like let it go, and then get back on it and go and talk to yourself in the mirror and be like, it's fine, but I still got this. Like, hype yourself up. You have to hype yourself up when nobody else on the external is hyping you up. You have to clap for yourself and your achievements when nobody else is clapping for yourself and your achievements. You have to be the one that is believing in yourself the most. Always, always, always. You have to be your biggest fan. You have to be your biggest supporter. You have to be your biggest hype man, across the board, because you're what you got. And I say it frequently, you are the most important project that you'll ever work on. Is not the external projects that are the most important things, and that need the most recognition. Is you are the most important project that you'll ever work on, and that you have ever been working on. And you should, just as much as you celebrate your external accomplishments, you need to acknowledge and celebrate your internal accomplishments, because honestly, the internal accomplishments, the internal growth, the internal healing, the internal changes and shifts and leveling up that you have been doing is far more worthy of that kind of acknowledgement and praise and important than any kind of external accomplishment that you could ever have. Again, you are the most important project that you will ever work on. And so you've got to view yourself that way, and you've got to start treating yourself that way, and you've got to start honoring yourself that way, and feeling like you are worthy of the external validation, and feeling like you are worthy of the external material resources, and being supported for the things that you are creating or the things that you're putting out there just as much. Don't let the lack thereof, the external validation or the external support, throw you off your game or wound your self-confidence or self-worth, because that's kind of part of the game. What kind of game would it be if there was no challenges, right? So it is a game, but you have the ability at any point in time to change the game. So please be mindful of that. You are the master of your world. Your words are your wand, and you make this world and you make this life and you make this game a damn good one that you are the star of, that you are enjoying, that you want to be a part of. You remember that you have the power right now inside of you to manifest whatever it is that you need, and whatever kind of life that God source universe has already approved for you to have into reality at any moment. You just need to stay consistent in your thinking and your worth with that, so that your energy and your frequency can match those manifestations that God source universe very happily would like to bestow upon you. Keep their frequency and energy consistent with that dream, with consistent with that way that you want to be supported, consistent with it, feel that, embody it, and talk to yourself in the mirror, talk to yourself every single day like the version of you that you want to show up as. And know that you're great, even if nobody else is saying it to you. You need to know that you are great, because your enemies damn sure do. And I feel like if you knew how much envy and jealousy there is around you over your shine, over the way that you show up, over the way that you act, over the way that you just naturally are, you would have no doubt in your mind over anything if you knew how unstoppable you are, if you knew how much people really do admire you and are inspired by you. They may not say it ever, because that's just how people are, but just know that you do. You're groundbreaking. You are a force to be reckoned with, and you come with a lot of power internally. And it's not like power of cockiness or arrogance. It's power that you have grown from within, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of putting in the work on yourself. And you're a spiritual heavyweight, and you need to know that. You need to know yourself and how great you are, because your enemy does. So you guys need you and your higher self, you and the you within yourself, you and your inner child, you and your masculine, you and your feminine, you and everything within you need to get on the same page with how great you are and what your gifts and abilities are, and how you have so much to offer this planet, and how much you have been doing. And with that being said, I'm going to leave it here. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget, you guys, you are able to apply to work one-on-one with me. The link is in the description box. Also, it's here on the link tree. If you're watching me on TikTok, you can do that. Click on the sorry, I was like, what am I talking about? You can click on the link in the link tree, and it has all the things. Also, I have some products that are available also in the link tree. You can now shop directly from my link tree and join the Patreon, because I will be doing more live streams, but for the Patreon members mostly. But full moons and new moons, I'll try. I'm gonna try to show up for y'all on the I'm doing it for you. Yeah, I'm gonna try on full moons and new moons, because Y'all over here on the YouTube, you guys have expressed your desire to have me more on YouTube to do the channeled stuff for full moons and new moons. So I'm gonna try to give y'all what you want, and as long as energy permits and things of that nature. So yes, don't forget, all the things will be in the description box and the link tree if you're watching me on TikTok, if you're over here on the YouTube, or if you're over here watching me in the audience on Riverside. You can find all the things. The New Earth Guidebook to Healing and Ascension is available on Amazon. And yeah, that's what your girl got. Don't forget, you can get some Evolve or Repeat merch, some Love and Light but Ready to Fight merch. Like, support the kid. Support the kid. Anyways, with that being said, y'all, I'll see you on the full moon coming up next month. And without further ado, Feast Squad. Meow.